Greetings guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. So happy to have you here with me today. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, and if you're interested in working with me, you can find me on evolvingwithmonette.com. So guys, excuse me, we're going to get right into the video. The thing that was on my heart and mind today was about communication. Working with clients yesterday, big theme that came up about not people necessarily in relationships, but people that had been perhaps pining away for a relationship, or maybe even seeing someone, right? But the terms and conditions were never solidified. And the thing that I want you to know is that empath, divine feminine, you can't keep making excuses for these guys or girls, whatever you're dealing with, when you are tying yourself in knots to explain why they can't communicate. Because the truth is, they can, and they do. They just choose on sometimes not to do it with you. Some of you guys here may need to hear this. I imagine in the future, whoever needs to stumble across this video will. If you are not getting clear communication from somebody that you're seeing, it's not because they're incapable or their childhood wounds have restricted them, or, you know, their cat died on Thursday. Those things may all be real factors. Like more often than not, excuse me, it is just an excuse not to give you clarity. They know exactly what their intention is. I have maybe 20 videos up here saying the same thing in a different way, because sometimes we need to hear a message hit differently in order to understand it. The thing that I learned in my journey and in my own trials and tribulations with people that were and were not communicative is that they were fully capable of it. And I cannot tell you what a fool I felt like. And this is why I'm sharing this with you, when I realized that they were in fact fully capable of communicating and committing and doing all of the things that they always had played mind games with me specifically about. And that's why I'm here as an interventionist for you. Because don't go through, if you can help it, what I went through. I think that sometimes we all have to learn our lessons, and we all have to kind of walk through a thing in order to really fully get it. But if you are dating somebody and, for example, an excuse that I heard was, you know, he just has a really hard time with that, and you know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. This is an example of a client that I worked with a couple years ago. They were not understanding why the person that they had been seeing for a couple years would not give them any kind of real commitment. And whenever they would talk, he would just shut down. He would do manipulative, argumentative things. Some of you guys have dealt with narcissists who use those tactics. I don't know that this guy she was dealing with was a narcissist, but he was just, you know, he was a low-grade F-boy. And by low-grade, I mean like a fever, like contagious, like not a good energy. And he was giving her this big old runaround. And then I worked with her for a couple years. And at the end of that couple years, after I was predicting and walking her through, it's time to leave the relationship, be preemptive, get out before this happens. What happened was he ended up leaving her. And this is why this is a cautionary tale. He ended up leaving her and then causing a tower moment in the relationship, meaning sabotaging it, creating a lot of chaos, being mean, vindictive, argumentative, all the things, right? Any of you guys who have ever been in a situation like that can maybe relate. And then what happened is within maybe 3 months or less, he was already in another relationship and he ended up marrying that person. Now, for those of us that believe in fate, we could say, well, maybe he was not fated to be with that person. Maybe that wasn't his person. And then it's entirely true, but he knew that halfway or in the beginning way through of the relationship he was in with that person. When I tell you the mental gymnastics she went through to make excuses for his toxic behavior, I listened, I coached her through it, I held her accountable for it when we were working together, but I also had to be the landing pad when everything crashed and burned. And I remember that feeling of energetically holding her and having to hold space for her, which is what I love to do. This is what I'm here on earth to do. But I remember how much pain she was in, because she thought, I don't understand. How could this be true? How could he now be in a relationship and he proposed and he's posting and he's communicative and he's in love and all of the things. Now, I explained to her what I also felt and foresaw to be true, that would also crash and burn, just out of karmic retribution, because of lessons he had not learned. You don't get to just like hip hop and scotch. Now, sometimes people see that happen and they're like, but they seem so happy. Guys. Anybody that has issues like that carries them into their next thing. And I wasn't wrong. They later broke up, not soon after, not long after that. Whoever he was with and whatever, and he was cheating XYZ. So his energy and behavior carried over. But the thing that appalled her, and I think it was the ice cold water that she needed on her face to never be treated in the same way again. And that's the message for you. She needed to see that he was fully capable of communication and conveying and being a partner in every capacity when he wanted to be. But he just decided that because she was doing all of the work, empath, wink wink, no offense, she was doing all the work, and that's me too, empath. I have done all the work in situations, and just being like, it's fine, I don't need much. Well, here's what you need to understand about masculine energy, period. Whether it comes in the form of actual man or a woman that has more masculine energy. Nobody, masculine people, masculine energies don't value what they don't work for. It is the setup of nature. It's primal. So if you're overworking and cooking all the meals and doing all the laundry and being a wonderful person, they don't care. That's nice. They appreciate it, but they're not actually valuing it. Not to say that you won't do that in a relationship, or whoever he got with didn't do that, but it is to say that my client had overworked herself and trying to prove her worth to him when the only person that she needed to prove her worth to was herself. And I wanted her to be in the position of having the upper hand and walking away, but that's just not how it went for her on that day. He did get kind of a gut punch to her, and it was devastating for her, and it was devastating to watch. But when we worked together 6 months later, and she was seeing someone who was valuing her, bing, 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 there's a good ending to this story. She reflected with me, and she said, girl, you were trying to tell me. And I said, girl, I was trying to tell you. But sometimes we have to walk through a situation. And beyond the girl you were trying to tell me, the thing that she conveyed to me that I thought is important for you listening today is that she realized how she had, on some level, she had like mind screwed herself. Yes, he was playing mind games for sure. That's to never be doubted. But she had given him way too many passes. And I understood that. And she was like, I look back at it and it's absurd. And in the new relationship she was in, we were talking about some of the things that were going on, and she was making the other person do the work. Not to say that she wasn't totally head over heels and smitten, because she was, but she made them do the work to attain her, to set dates, to follow through, to prove to her that they were worthy. She vetted them because she realized that she was the prize. That doesn't mean she diminished in value in her partner's eyes, or that her partner was diminished in value. But it just means that she decided that she learned the lessons. People can communicate. If they tell you they can't and they act crazy like they can't, it's upset. It's insane. Now that's her story. You guys know my story, but the overview for that, for me, what I took away at the ending of my story, where I've had this happen, and it's happened multiple times in my life. You know, guys, it takes us a while sometimes to get it right and to learn. But the last time when I got the most prominent message, I realized that the person was fully capable of communicating, committing, and giving whatever kind of connection it was that maybe I had been seeking. She gave it freely, and she did it without any kind of recompense to the person that she wanted to give it to. She invested, she put a lot of time in, she put a lot of work in. I was actually proud of her. If she wasn't such what did Paula Abdul say? Cold-blooded snake. If she wasn't such a slithering energy, I would have been like high-fiving her because she evolved. I was so proud of her. Isn't that funny? The irony that even though the betrayal was heaped upon me, I was proud of her because I was like, you got it. You figured out relationships. You know what to do. You're a terrible person, a terrible human. Yeah. But you figured out relationships. And no, the same is true for that outcome for hers. Whatever she put the energy into because of the way that she went into it doesn't work, right? She can make it work, but the misery is hers to revel in. And I imagine that for some of the people that you have encountered, the misery will be theirs to revel in as well. What I'm saying about this is if someone treated you like pure hell, yes, maybe they figured out how to communicate. Maybe they always knew. That's the thing that I want to get through to you. They always knew exactly how to communicate. My person would purposely play mind games and all of that stuff, but was absolutely capable of being super clear when she needed to be with whomever she needed to be clear with. Just not clear with me because it was more fun to watch me dance as she played games. Yeah. That's when you got someone more sadistic, narcissistic, sick, sociopathic on your hands. That was my case, unfortunately. Not all of you guys are dealing with that. You're just dealing with someone who doesn't want to fully commit, who doesn't want to really let you understand whatever they're trying to do or whatever their aim or direction is. So don't be fooled. All right, guys, I will not keep you much longer than that. Pay attention to their communication style. And then if you see the relationship after that they're in, know that they did it with clear communication and they were able to get into it because it's what they wanted to do. That's just not what they wanted to do with you. That doesn't mean that you're of less value. What it means is that you had a lesson. They were a teacher. That's how you have to look at them. Even if they're a sociopathic, narcissist, terrible, dog-faced, lying pony soldier, they were still a teacher for you. At the end of the pain and after the drama and after the tantrums and after the rain, that's what you need to extract from it. They were teaching you a lesson about your value. That's what that person taught me, my value. And it changed the way that I will forever look at life, and it put me on my North Node. Not all of you guys will have encounters or breakups that are that powerful. And I don't recommend it because in order for it to be such a powerful catalyst, it means that it was a powerful pile of bullshit, okay? So I had to wade through that on my own. But this is why I bring this to you. I don't want you to go it alone. I never, ever, ever. I'm here as a coach. I'm here as a guide. I'm here as a teacher. I never want you to feel like you don't have someone by your side. I don't want you to be in your head. I don't want you to be lying in your bed. I don't want you to be trying to figure out what your dreams and premonitions mean. I did the hard work and the heavy lifting. So please take my foolish advice, hard-earned, maybe not so foolish advice, and listen to me. They can communicate. They know what to say. They just weren't bringing clarity your way. And that's the message. I love you guys so much. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.